Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Animaking 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 29 of What If Naruto Was Neglected, with Jashin sealed inside of him. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was a Part of a Legendary 7 over on Anime King, and enjoy that guys, and stay tuned for a brand new episode over on Anime King 2, and yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly, there is no mistaking. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support, and yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last spot we left off, all of them were shocked to find out that Naruto was alive, as Mito was on the verge of tears, Minba, and Minato was trying to stay brave. Kushina was broken inside, to hear that Jiraiya was gone. Despite him being a big pervert, he was a part of their family, and Naruto took him away. Minma was pissed off as he made his way. He went to visit Hinata, as she was surprised to see him here. The next words that he said shocked her. As she barely heard the rest of the conversation, the only thing she heard was that Naruto was back. And the security has been getting tighter on her. She noticed that ninjas were sent in the shadows and some ambus, as Minato feared that Naruto would come after her, just to hurt Minma. But while that was going on, as Naruto arrived, Oniki was threatening to turn into dust. But Naruto was going a bit crazy as the way he spoke. Kind of, well, crazy to the way that he spoke, and he seemed to be talking to himself most of the time, and that kind of got them on edge. But Naruto assured Oniki that he did something great while giving him the head of Jiraiya, as Oniki was surprised to see the sun in his head. Well, perhaps he could be of some use. So he allowed them to stay, but they were being constantly watched. But that was easily dealt with, as Gaara was able to spread something through the hidden stone. Yes, she was spreading something as they were doing their plan. Meanwhile, as Naruto went to visit Kurotsuchi, she tried to fight back, and as much as she could, his charms, and there was just something about him. It made her give in, as she couldn't believe that she let that happen, as both of them ended up sleeping together. After that, Naruto made his way, as Onki was shocked to see that boy in his room. He was about to do something, but he couldn't move when Naruto told him to stop. As Naruto then relayed to him, from the moment that they met, he started to infect his body with his darkness, and it festered inside of him, and is giving him full control as Onki shut his mouth as Naruto told to do so. As Naruto then did something as Onki was pulled underneath the ground by arms. He was terrified, but there was nothing he could do. He had to follow his command. The next moment, Onki emerged, but he was no longer Onki, as he was something within his body, a fire demon called Abaddon. As he told Naruto what has been happening since he left the place where he had been for the past few centuries. As Naruto seemed to be irritated by someone who was forced him to do something he didn't want to do. Well, he did make a deal with someone, and also there was someone else that Naruto called his blood, but he didn't specify who exactly it was, as he told Abaddon to lay dormant until he was ready. As Naruto then vanished, Oniki woke up back, and everything was normal. He was unaware that his mind, his body, and his soul was being taken over by a fire-breathing demon inside of him. The next morning, Kurotsuchi woke up to see Gaara in her bed, as she leaped away, as Gaara told her that they would have their fun time. After all, she slept with Naruto, and she wanted a taste of her. But she just left after that, leaving Kurotsuchi quite confused and a mess, as she couldn't believe what happened last night. It was amazing, but still, what has she done? As she went to visit her grandfather, as he told her that Naruto was not here, saying that he had a few business to take care of. But things were going well, and the boy was listening to his orders. As Kurotsuchi wondered if she should allow him to serve the hidden stone when she became the Kage, she did not know. Meanwhile, as Naruto found himself in an empty valley, as he was waiting, he had made signs and laid behind signs for Sasuke to find him, but Sasuke is not the person that he wanted to find him. It was a spy of the Akatsuki that he wanted to find him. After all, as Naruto said that he made another deal. He seemed to know of Zetsu, and he said that he made a deal with his mother. But then, she showed up. The person that Naruto didn't want to see at the moment, it was none other than Jashin, as she told him that she would not allow him to do what he wants. Jashin knew the fabrications of leaving Naruto by himself, and that he was dangerous now than before, and she couldn't allow it. Meanwhile, Sasuke had burst off the moment he saw that clone of Naruto come to talk to him. Sasuke was out for blood and vengeance, as he couldn't believe that he was alive. Finally could have his revenge. So yeah guys, that was basically what I thought. If you guys can switch across, please check out for yourself so to begin this new episode. Sasuke couldn't believe it. After all these years, he would finally get what he wanted, and that was to see Naruto dying at his blade. He had already unsheathed his blade as he dashed through the forest, making his way towards where he felt that presence. Most people would have been scared and run away, but Sasuke was determined. His three-toed Sharingan showing fully as he shot forward with unimaginable speed. But before he could arrive though, the ground cracked. Sasuke heard screams. Screams of dying souls. He froze in his mid-run as he narrowed his eyes when he felt a wave. Sasuke had to leap away as he launched himself towards a column of rock over to the side when he saw a thick blackness resonating through the air that swallowed all of the life around. He saw animals in the forest turn into skeletons, plants turn into ashes, the ground crumbled, trees fell. As he fled, moved away from that thick black smoke as he was unaware of what it was. Meanwhile, as Jashin stood there in all her might, her body was glistening in the darkness. The thing about it was midday, yet the place was as dark as night. Her darkness swallowed the entire forest, turning it pitch black. We've been through a lot. Her voice echoed through the air as Naruto stood there in the center, his eyes closed. And I gave you an option to serve me as before, but you turned me down. So I'm sorry. But I'm gonna have to kill you. As she raised her hand to the heavens, several javelins made up of darkness was created. Their tips were pointed as she dropped them. They came with such speed and the velocity that they were dropping from. No one could dodge them. But to her utter shock, she watched as all of them was grabbed. Several hands came from Naruto's back. They looked transparent, but you could see them. They were dark, with red markings coming from them. The fingernails were so long and black and decrepit, as they grabbed onto all the javelins and tossed them back towards her. She moved, as the ground was ripped apart. As Naruto still had his eyes closed, several demonic arms behind him waving in the air. They raised the heavens before dropping. The ground was turned into dust. The entire air was turned into dust by the fists that tremored through the earth. Jashin stood there though unfazed, until Naruto sank his hands into the ground before he took a deep breath. Jashin was alarmed when she saw him swallow all of her darkness, as the sun started to peer down on them, giving them light. As Naruto released a breath, black smoke coming from his mouth. Ah, the sun is really refreshing, he said, as he looked towards his skin. As he basked in daylight, the arms retreating back into his back. Jashin was confused. After everything that she did, she thought that he would be itching to kill her. So it just further perplexed her why he wasn't trying. She knew that he was stronger than this, yet he was not. She vanished in a burst of speed, her claws extended. They were dripping. She was gonna rock his body from the inside out as she slashed towards his chest, only for him to grab her arm. As his eyes was closed once again, he did not look at her. It was more like he refused to look so. You say you want to kill me, yet you're playing around, said Naruto as his tone was incredibly calm. As her nails on her other hand extended as she slashed it towards his face, but he grabbed it before she could reach him. I'm the one that's messing around, and yet you're holding back so much I can feel it. Tell me, where did you get that nifty ability from, to absorb my darkness like that? I know that you have a lot of secrets that you've gained over the past couple of years. You mind sharing them, she asks. As Naruto's eyes slowly opened, he just looked at her. His face was blank, showing no joy. There wasn't the usual smirk. His face was blank as he looked directly in her eyes. There was no hatred, no anger. He was calm. She decided to push him. So what? After everything, after I took everything away from you, turn you into a monster, Make your parents hate you, make everyone see you as nothing but something they should loathe and see as disgusting. After all the torturing, after all the beating, after all the bad remarks, you're just gonna forgive me like that, she said. I mean, you obviously don't want to kill me. So why? Tell me why you're here. Why are you even back if not for revenge? You told me that you will get your revenge, but if you're this weak, just a bit of boost of power, there isn't much that you can do to me, she said. As she broke out of his hole and stabbed her hand right into his chest. As she started to twist her nails, digging deep into his flesh. He did not bleed though. There wasn't even a drop of blood. As I suspected, you're not even any resemblance of human anymore. So tell me, what have you become? What exactly are you? Suddenly she had to move as she was almost grabbed by a dark hand as Gaara touched down right beside Naruto. Oh, so it's you, said Jashin. But Gaara did not face her as she looked towards Naruto. Naruto, said Gaara, but he did not respond. Naruto! But he still didn't respond. She raised her hand and slapped him across the face as he was snapped back into focus. Come on, focus, she said. Not now. It's not time yet. Don't let her rile you up. I know what you want to do, but not yet. Stay calm, okay? If you do this now, our plans will be thrown out the window. As Naruto took her hand, thanks, he said. As his smile returned back to his face. I'm alright now, he said to her. Jashin was confused. Just what the hell just happened? So what, Jashin said. Is she your new master? Someone to control you? You've never been much of a thinker in any way. After all, for your entire life you have been used. So is she your new master? With a collar on your neck? Oh, puppy, she asks, as she tried to taunt him, but Naruto looked towards her with a smile, before he turned his head, completely ignoring her. That pissed her off. Hey, I'm talking to you, she said. Ah, Sasuke, you finally made it. As Naruto grabbed the blade that tried to decapitate him, Sasuke gave a wait as he unleashed 3 kunais towards Naruto's skull. As Naruto simply stepped aside, still holding on to the blade that Sasuke pushed lightning chakra into it, ripping into Naruto's flesh. Sasuke brought his left foot up and slammed it into Naruto's throat. He then twisted his body as he ripped his blade from Naruto's palm and brought it down to sever him in half. But before he could, Naruto's eyes landed directly on him. Sasuke didn't know what it was, but his body seized up and he jumped back. Sasuke panted, confused. What the hell was that? His body forcefully reacted him to move. Why? Ah, you look well. I see you've been training. Heard that you left the Hidden Leaf. You are enemy now. After all they've given you, I thought you would never betray them. But after what I did, murdering your family and all, you know, your mother cried. She begged. But I simply tore her throat open. Well, the bitch did deserve it. Shut your mouth, said Sasuke. Oh? And are you gonna make me shut it? I promised myself that I would kill you, said Sasuke. I've trained for this single purpose in mind. I've waited. I've prayed. I know that you're back. You will die at my feet. It's a shame that you abandon your friends for nothing. To be honest, Sasuke, I don't really see you as a threat. I have bigger goals, things to do, but you're no annoyance. But your death will put fear into the people at the village. Well, I just want to use your head to piss them off. I'm going there soon. How about you hand over your head? We're not done yet, said Jashin. Be quiet, said Gaara. You, telling me to be quiet. It seems like you forgot your place while being wherever you were. You have no idea, said Gaara. She stepped forward. You think he's afraid of you. You think he doesn't want to hurt you in some way. You think that you're all that. But I see you for what you truly are. Oh? And please enlighten me, what am I? A coward, idiotic, selfish bitch who doesn't know when she's outmatched. Please, you believe that you and Naruto can take me. I was holding back because I believe that he had something that might surprise me or show me that he's been doing special training all these years. But it's been nothing but a waste. And him being here is gonna affect certain things that I can't allow to happen. It's about time I take charge of my mistakes and clean them up. So I'm gonna be killing him. Well then, you're gonna have to get past me. Oh Gaara, Gaara, Gaara. You always thought that you were that strong, that powerful, but I assure you, you are. That was Jashin's mistake, talking for too long. The next instant, her body was skewered as she was sent sailing back into the broken forest. As Gaara lowered her hand, I'll hold her off for the moment. You, handle it with Uchiha. As Naruto nodded as Gaara made her way. As Naruto then turned back, Sasuke's Shidori hand was plummeting towards his chest. As Naruto grabbed him by his wrist, Sasuke locked eyes with Naruto as he tried to place Naruto against Jutsu, but nothing happened. As Naruto headbutted Sasuke, knocking him back, but he held on to Sasuke's wrists. He swung him around with such speed he launched him. Sasuke burst right to the bushes and slammed into a rock. Sasuke moved as the entire rock was obliterated by a beam of pure darkness. As Naruto raised his hands to the heavens, hundreds, probably thousands of arms came from the ground and lashed out towards Sasuke. Sasuke wasted no time as he went through hand sign. Lightning release. Shidori Senbon, he said, as he released hundreds, probably thousands of them, as he skewered and ripped through all of the hands on the ground. As the hands went back down, clapping could be heard as Sasuke turned. Sasuke froze where he was though, as the clapping wasn't coming from his left, but directly behind him, so why did it sound like it was coming from his left? I must say, I'm impressed. Sasuke felt the arm wrapped around his waist holding on to him. He twisted as he brought his elbow around, but Naruto grabbed onto him tight. He tried to switch our sunshine away, but he could not. What am I doing? Oh, just a trick I picked up. I must say, Sasuke, you have truly grown. But as Naruto whispered in his ear, not enough. Sasuke cried out in pain when Naruto stabbed directly in his lower back. As Sasuke felt the claws protruding in him, as Naruto ripped them out and Sasuke dropped. Sasuke's skull as he twisted and threw his blade, as Naruto caught it right in his mouth and beat down on it, obliterating the blade. Sasuke got up to his feet as he flashed through hand sign, fire style. Raging inferno, he said as he spewed fire up in the air that twisted as it came down like bombs, obliterating the area. As Sasuke waited as he saw Naruto step from the smoke. Oh, trust me, your fire is too cool to hurt me. Let me show you what real fire is. As Naruto placed his hand on the ground, hellfire. The ground cracked and hellfire exploded outwards. Despite not being so close, Sasuke felt it. The insane heat that started to boil his skin. He leaped away, moving as far as possible only to feel the back of his neck grab. He was then forcefully smashed through several trees, bursting open his skull as blood started to leak from his forehead going down. As Naruto tossed him like a rag doll, he crashed over to the ground as Sasuke spat blood. Confused how this is happening. After all this training, it made no sense at all. Meanwhile, just what in the hell was that, said Jashin, as she got to her feet. As Gaara simply smiled, Gaara crossed her arms before releasing them in a slash. A wave of a piercing red beam came from her arms as Jashin moved, only to see everything behind her torn to shreds. Her throat was grabbed as she was picked off the ground and smashed in the ground hard, obliterating it underneath her. As Gaara got up and kicked her right in the face, launching her back, Jashin flipped as she landed calmly. I must say you've gotten stronger, but not enough. As the upper half of Jashin's face turned so dark, you couldn't see it anymore. She moved her speed as she appeared behind Gaara and brought her hand down. But Gaara caught it and flinged her over her shoulder and tossed her in a couple of trees. Jashin ricocheted back towards her with such speed that it seemed like she broke the speed of sound itself as she slammed into Gaara with a full force tackle and drive her through the earth, breaking through the crevice of the earth as the both of them went down. Another part of the earth then exploded as black sand, shoot Jashin from out of the earth, and slam her back down. Jashin roared as the roar trembled through the entire forest, blowing away the sand as she got to her feet. You might be stronger, but you can't kill me. Oh, I'm not the one that's gonna kill you. And trust me, we have bigger plans for you. So you do want me for something, said Jashin. Yes, I suppose you're right. But what? Would you like to know? So that's the reason why Naruto isn't trying to kill me. Although, he can't really. Look, you both have grown, but you're still not strong enough to defeat me. You two don't even know exactly what I am, do you? Gaara laughed. A humor-filled laugh. Like I said, you have no idea what's going on around you. You know that, right? Well, enlighten me then. What exactly don't I know? Oh, that's the best part. I'm not gonna tell you, said Gaara. Then why bring it up? Just to make you know that you're not controlling everything. And things are happening that you will never know and never control. And trust me, when the time does come, you're gonna suffer. And it's not gonna be pain. It's not gonna be just pain that you're gonna feel. It's something much, much worse. Mark my words. We're not ready for you yet. But we'll be soon. And who told you I'll give you the opportunity to leave from here? You might be able to hide from my senses, but I'll just kill the both of you here right now. Gaara smiled. It was then that Jashin noticed the sand around her start to glow red. As Gaara snapped her finger, everything went off in an explosion that wiped out the entire forest. Meanwhile, as Sasuke raised his hands, "Die!" he says, he brought down lightning. A ferocious dragon roared and slammed into Naruto full force. Sasuke panted where he was. This fight hasn't been working out so far as he thought, but no, finally, it was over. As he slumped down to one knee, laughter could be heard. That tickles. Sasuke felt his body trembling in fear. How? No. It didn't make any sense. How was that possible? As Sasuke saw something in the smoke, something inhuman, as he watched something reverted back into Naruto's body, before it just vanished. When the smoke cleared away, Sasuke saw electricity running down Naruto's body, but he was laughing. The next moment he blinked, his eyes came face to face with Naruto. Sasuke tried to move, but his back was pressed up against a wall. Now do you see your mistake? Taking on something that is better than you. Something that you can never hope to manage. Something that you stupidly thought that you could kill. Sasuke gritted his teeth in rage. As he was pissed off, he was furious as tears started to fill his eyes. How could this be possible after all these years? All this damn training? How? It didn't make any sense. I heard that some Uchihas have special eyes. Where are yours? Said Naruto. I don't really remember the name, but I heard that is another form of the Sharingan. As Naruto tapped him on the forehead, as Sasuke clenched his fist, as he brought it up, he then screamed out in pain as Naruto held on to his left hand. Don't try to attack me when I'm talking. As Naruto slapped him with his own hand. Sasuke looked down as he saw his hand was completely gone. His throat was then grabbed as Naruto crushed his throat. As Sasuke gurgled, unable to speak, he tried to crawl away as Naruto stomped in his leg, breaking his bones. As Sasuke cried out in gurgles. Sasuke, said Naruto. After all these years. Finally, said Naruto, as he picked Sasuke up by the neck. He then vanished. Black Zetsu was confused. Where did he go? He had just arrived to speak to Kisame and Sasuke, when Kisame told him that Sasuke had went off, and he hasn't been back since, and now he find this going on here. Hey. Black Zetsu was surprised, as he slowly turned his head. As Sasuke was unconscious, as Naruto held him up by the back of his neck. I was hoping that you would show. Didn't you get my message? Black Setsu narrowed his eyes. Don't run now. I know you're not the fighting type. And trust me, know that I have you in my sights, you can't leave. I'm here to talk about your mother. Black Setsu was shocked. What did you just say? Your mother, Kaguya Osusuke. Black Setsu wondered if he was hearing things. How do you know that name? Well, me and your mother kind of make a deal. And lucky for you, I'm gonna help you free her. Setsu narrowed his eyes. Could he trust this man? But how would he know? How do you know of my mother? Setsu asks. Well, we met somewhere different. And let's just say we became good friends. Well, good friends. Setsu narrowed his eyes at that. But he did not ask what Naruto mean by that. So, you know. If you know my mother, do you know everything? Well, yes, said Naruto. I mean, who else would know? I mean, you're like a what? 1,000 years old or... Well, your age doesn't matter. But me and your mother is a deal, so I'm gonna help you. Bring her back. After all, I do have the 2 tails. Would you mind telling me how far your organization has gone with collecting tail pieces? Setsu wasn't fully sure if he could trust this man yet. Alright, you see you don't trust me, but... I know your mother. Her name was Kaguya Osusuke. She didn't come from this planet. Blah blah blah. She had 2 sons, Haguro Hamura, and yeah. But we can't talk here. There's some things I don't want to reveal yet. And a certain people, well, this bitch, is gonna try to fight me, and you see, I don't want to hurt her yet. So meet me at the Hidden Stone. I'll be there waiting for you. And if you don't, I will slaughter every single Akatsuki member and stop you from ever reviving Kaguya. But if you do, I'll help you, and your mother will be back to do as she pleases. So be a good son and do that for her, okay? Gaara then appeared beside Naruto after the massive explosion went off. That should be enough to hold her for a while. But she's nowhere close to dead. We should go, said Gaara. Well, let's go. I do have the Uchiha. I'll bring him to Konoha as a little present, just to taunt them. As he touched Gaara on the shoulder as they vanished, Zetsu heard a primal scream as he sank into the ground. As he had to flee, the whole section of the forest was immersed in nothing but death and destruction. Lava, fire, bright bristling winds, hurricane that just appeared out of nowhere. The entire nature changed. As Jashin was pissed, she came out of the smoke, as her clothes was badly burned in certain areas, but it was slowly fixing itself as she walked. Her eyes were pitch black, her demonic teeth were out, as she looked around like a feral dog, but she couldn't sense them anywhere. She slowly calmed herself, as she looked up in the heavens. She clenched her fist so tight deep black blood started to leak from her palms. I'll find you, she said, and when I do, I'll rip you apart, the both of you. Meanwhile, as Zetsu couldn't believe what he just heard. Well, what he just felt was a lot concerning, but how did this man? He was certain now that was Naruto, the son of Minato, that he thought that was dead, but no, he was alive. But how did he know his mother? What kind of deal they had? Zetsu had absolutely no idea. Well, he would have to visit the Hidden Stone to find out more. After all, if this was a trap, how would he even know about Kaguya in the first place? Time skipped at Konoha. As the envoy patrol was making their way, as he saw someone running, the person looked exhausted as the person collapsed. The captain of the squad gave the signal as they dropped. Sir, it's the Uchiha. As the captain's eyes went wide. Time skip. What? Yes, he just appeared out of nowhere, said Minato, as he looked towards Menma and Mito. As Sakura was in the office as well, along with Lady Snavi. He is currently stable, but I wanted to have a look at him. As Snavi nodded, she made her way to the infirmary, quickly followed by Sakura. So he just showed up after everything. No explanations. Well, he wasn't in a situation to talk. His left arm was missing, and he was badly beaten. His throat was crushed from what I heard. Do you think Naruto did the same, said Mito, as Minma clenched his fist. If he did, I don't know why he would just drop him here. Well, I'll find out, said Minma. He's not in any condition to talk right now, but he will be soon, and we'll find out. Why is he not showing himself? Mito said. After everything that happened, after what we did to him, he should be back here trying to hurt us in so many ways. As her hand was trembling slightly, Minma placed a hand on her shoulder. I won't let him do us anything. We don't know what he's capable of, she said. Last time, he was powerful. Without whatever happened to him, we wouldn't have caught him. And I saw it with my own eyes, he died right there and then. But now he's back. Can he even be killed? I don't even know if he's human anymore. That thing was never human to begin with, said Minma. And I'll get rid of him, I promise. As Minato was in deep thought as he just looked out of space. He hadn't had the time to grieve for Jiraiya, as he couldn't believe that his sensei was gone. He hadn't seen a body or anything, but from what Pa told him, even the toad was grieving for his wife and Jiraiya boy. But yet Naruto hasn't showed himself at all, as he really wondered what Naruto's up to. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Stone, as Kurotsuchi came face to face with Gaara. Were you waiting for me? Gaara asked. No, said Kurotsuchi. I was waiting for him. Where is he? As they were currently at the border. Well, he's off handling some other business. Nothing for you to worry about, darling. Why? You want him to ravish you again? Kurotsuki's cheeks turned a bit red as she turned her face. Look, once we go past and go inside the village, I don't want to hear you speak about it at all, you hear me? What happened was a mistake, and I want you two to keep your mouth shut around my grandfather. He will not find out about this, understood? You're so cute when you're demanding. As Gaara stepped forward, Kurosaki stepped back. You know, it's only a matter of time before I have my way with you. I mean, he get to enjoy you, so why shouldn't I? Because I don't swing that way? Oh, trust me, you will after I'm done with you. And besides, it doesn't matter how far you swing. Naruto is just different. He can change you, you know? Even if you go that way, or that way. He's just different. And one of these days, both of us are gonna enjoy him together. And I'm gonna get to enjoy you as well. As Gaara walked past her and smacked her right in the ass, Kurosaki glared at her, but Gaara simply smirked as she waved and went towards the village. Kurosaki clenched her fists. What the hell had she gotten herself into? Recently, she didn't have these things to worry about, and now she was in between some kind of weird strange relationship with this girl telling her that she was gonna have a way with her. Of course she wouldn't let that happen. As she sighed, she couldn't believe that she went through it that night and did it with him. But Gaara wasn't wrong. It was amazing. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Sakura was shocked. As she looked over, Sasuke was lying on the bed. He was not bound because he was in no condition of waking up. Snally assured them of that. His body had been through heavy stress, but his vitals were stable, as there was a massive bandage around his, well, where his left arm used to be, and there was a cast around his throat. As he was just lying there, his body needed time to recover, Sakura. When that is over, I'll wake him up, as Nadia had placed him in an induced coma so his body could rest. Where's Mito and Minma? They said that they would be here to talk to him once he wakes up. Despite everything, they were his friends. They knew why he left for power, but they were still a bit angry, but they wouldn't put that past him, because they need to find out if Naruto did this, and what exactly Naruto wants. So with that, Sakura left the room along with Snazzy. The moment they did, smoke started to seep from Sasuke's mouth. As it seeped out of his mouth until it formed someone in the room. As Naruto smiled, he leaned down close to Sasuke's face. Poor Uchiha, he said. Well, you ran away. You got stronger, but it wasn't enough. Wonder what you'll do now. As Naruto placed his hand on Sasuke's chest, just for the fun later on, as he then went off, disappearing into the shadows. Snazzy opened the door. As she looked inside, she felt something off. She guessed that she was wrong. Time skip. As Hinata made her way home, at least she had some privacy in her room. The walls of the house were protected with seals so you could not see inside of each other's rooms. After all, the clan, they can see through walls. Walls really don't make sense. That is why they had the seals, and she activated hers as she entered. She sat down in her bed. She knew that she was being watched. Despite everything, she was being watched like a damsel in distress. If he wanted to show up, he would have shown up already. She wasn't sure how correct this news were that he was alive. What if it was just someone trying to impersonate him? She didn't know. After all, if he was back, he would have come straight to her. He did tell her that he would return. Something that frightened her and also excited her for some reason. That part of her she really hated. But what could she do about it? She didn't know. As she sat down, before lying down in her bed, as she sighed, at least she had some good times with her friends. They were trying to make sure that she was, well, in a good condition. They were still thinking that she was suffering from what happened. But he didn't take advantage of her. She knew what she was doing. It's just that no one knew. Before she could do anything, a hand was placed over her mouth. As she was about to fight back who it was, but when she saw him, her heart froze. His eyes were different. So was his hair, but it was him. That same charming, wicked smile plastered on his face. He removed his hand as he placed a hand on his lip, telling her to shh. As he stepped away, looking around her room. Nice room you have here. She did not scream. She looked at him as she sat up. Her mind was running through things in a mile a second right there. He was really back. It was him. She couldn't believe it. She looked around her room if she had any weapons. She had made up her mind, did she? That she was going to kill him if she saw him again. She had a kunai under her pillow. As she reached and grabbed it and launched forward, as she tackled him down to the ground, she landed right on him. Before, she raised her hand to the heavens and brought it down. But she stopped, right at his throat. Thought you'd at least stab me or something. Is my influence that much rubbing off on you? She pressed it down as it pierced his throat, but not enough that it would kill someone, but it would cause them unimaginable pain. As her Byakugan gun quickly activated, she didn't see anything. She was confused. She could not see through him. She couldn't see inside his system or nothing. She couldn't see his heart if he was beating or anything. As she placed the kunai even deeper, but yet he still smiled. As he just looked down, completely ignoring that she was piercing his throat. His hands went around her waist. As they start to move around, in a rather arousing way. As she feels strength in her body getting weaker and weaker. Stop that, she said, as she pressed the kunai closer. But yet he wasn't alarmed by it at all. His hands didn't reach up as he went towards her chest. She pulled the kunai and placed his hands down on the ground before she stabbed the kunai right through his palm, piercing into the floor. As she glared at him angrily, Mito, tell me what you did. You killed Jiraiya of the Sannin. And I will kill you for that, she said. Just because I killed some old pervert, Naruto asked. You killed a shinobi of Konoha. I am also a shinobi of Konoha and I pledge to protect this village with my life. So, I'll end here, she said, as she brought her hand forward to strike him right where she presumed his heart was. But he did not move, he was unfazed. Aren't you afraid, she said. Afraid of death? Of course not. I did tell you already, didn't I? That not even death can stop me from what I want. And there is something here that I wanted, Konoha. Despite the death of everyone here, I want you. Well, to be more precise, that body of yours. And your firing attitude thinking that you won't give it to me. I don't know what it was, or what it is, but it's like a drug. At first, I was just doing it to piss off Menma. I didn't really care a damn about you. As her hand clenched at that. But recently, it has been getting me excited to come and visit you. Strange. And as I told you before, nothing, no one in this world can stop me from getting what I want. as his hand ripped her shirt apart, exposing her chest. Her cheeks got red as she drove her hand down and stopped right at his throat. Why couldn't she do it? Why? But he simply pushed her down as she fell down to the ground. Now he was over her as he sniffed her like a prey. She watched as the entire room was covered in darkness. You can scream as much as you like, no one will hear you. As he tore her clothes apart without hesitation. And once again she did the thing that she didn't want to do. She gave in as he kissed her neck going down. She could not fight anymore as she just gave in as she lost herself into the loss. Time skip. Hinata lay there on the ground, completely unclothed, as he was sitting right beside her. Tears were leaking from her eyes. She did it again. She did it again. She didn't know why she was keep on doing this. She did not stop him. She did it again as she clenched her fist in rage. What? Didn't like it? She couldn't answer that question because she did. She did like it was amazing. But she shouldn't. She shouldn't do this, especially not with him. She was going against everything that she believed in by doing this with him, not once but twice. How are you even alive, she asks. I told you before, death cannot hold me. But how, she said. A little mystery. I'll tell you in the end. What do you mean by that? Well, you're the only one that I'll bring with me. What? Well, after I kill everyone here in Konoha, your family, your friends, every single one of them, I'll take you with me. I'll make you survive. A charity on my part. Well, it's been fun sleeping with you. So yeah, you can thank your body for that. So I'm just some kind of meat for you to use, she asks. Yes, as I see fit. Didn't you know that already? Her heart started to beat faster as she glared at him intensely. He reached forward and patted her on the head. Don't be upset. You're gonna live a better life than this once you're at my side. I mean, sticking by my side means a couple of perks. So you expect me to betray everyone, including my friends and my family? For you? A monster? Not really a monster, more like... Nah, I can't tell you that yet. Maybe yeah, call me a monster for now. I'm indeed a monster after all. I have no remorse. And people like that, they do what they want without well, worrying about anyone else. So I'm kinda a monster. But what does that make you? Someone repulsive, she said. My, didn't think you would call yourself that. I won't let you take me. I'll kill myself, she said to him. Oh, you wouldn't want to do that. Why not? You learn soon enough. But don't worry. It's gonna be better being at my side. You have nothing to worry about. If you harm any of my family members, I'll kill you. We've already made it abundantly clear that you can't. Not that you can't try and stab me, but your body won't let you. Perhaps I'm just that good. Or perhaps he poked her in the chest in here. You know that you've already chosen me over everyone else, including your family and your loved ones. And why the hell would I do something like that, she asks. Who knows? Maybe you love the sex. Or maybe despite you calling me a monster, you actually like me. Well, it's up to you, he says. He got to his feet. As he snapped his finger and his clothing reappeared over him in a shroud of darkness. I'll warn them, she said. Warn them? Oh, don't worry, I'm not here to destroy Konoha. I'm just here to talk. About what, she asks. He stooped down and looked her in the eyes. Bedtime. His eyes glow. As she found herself falling down as he caught her and placed her on the bed. He then vanished as room returned back to normal. A moment later, as Hanabi knocked, Big sister? But she heard nothing from inside. So she opened the door. As she saw her sister was asleep, she decided not to wake her as she made her way off. Meanwhile, Kushina came home. As she sighed as she was all alone, the others were out. She sat down in the kitchen. As she just sat there, she knew that they messed up with the way that he grew, with the things they let happen to him, but she never. expect him to come back at all. He died. They all saw it, but now he was alive and kicking. And she knew he was gonna come after her family. But she didn't know how to stop it at all. She didn't know exactly what to do. What if they were out there and he just attacked? As she sighed, she heard something. She got to her feet. She was sure that she was the only one here. As she made her way, strangely enough, the noise was coming from where he used to sleep. Now that she thought about it, it was like he was just a wild animal that they kept in a cage. Poor bad judgment on their part, but it had to be done. As she sighed, she made her way slowly down. She was confused. Menma? Mito? She called. But she didn't hear anything at all. So she just made her way down there. As she opened the door that hasn't been opened in such a long time, it wasn't even locked. As she made her way towards the cell, before she could reach, she heard a voice. I mean, look at this. I was nothing more than a wild animal, wasn't I? She froze. That voice. It couldn't be. No. As she slowly turned, there he was sitting down in the cell, looking quite uncomfortable. He was different, his eyes were red, and his hair was now white, but she was sure of it, it was him. Before she could move, she was grabbed. As she was grabbed around her waist and yanked, the Naruto inside the cell turned to smoke as she was thrown inside, and it was closed behind her. She reached to grab the bars, but the moment she did, it burned her hand. Her chains extended, but they couldn't get past the threshold. You're wondering, what is this? What have you done? She shouted. What you did to me. Keep you away like you're an animal. Does it feel good? Tell me, mother, he said. Don't call me that, she said as she clenched her fist. Oh, guess you did so to me now. Father was the first one. You're next. It hurts as he held his heart. Well, he held his chest like he had one. It's a shame. What are you gonna do? She said, fearfully. I'm gonna take off Menma and Mito's head. Well, I already did it. Her eyes went wide in tears. Oh, calm down, I'm just kidding. I haven't hurt them, yet. But I am gonna hurt them. Right in front of your pretty little eyes, Mom. And in front of Dad as well. I want it to be a big show. I have plans, things to do. I won't let you hurt them, you monster. He held his chest once again. Monster. No, that was cruel. I mean, aren't you supposed to love your kids unconditionally? I mean, you were the one that gave me life. That doesn't matter anymore. The actions that you have done so far is unthinkable. What you did to Hinata. You killed Jiraiya. As Naruto sighed. Well, guess we're both wrong here. No, you're the one that is wrong. I have long since stopped blaming myself for your past. The actions that you have done so far is up to you. How are you even alive? As Naruto stooped down towards her level. I told you, Mom. Not even death can hold me. As his smile was vicious and wicked. I wonder how the Uchiha is doing. Her eyes widened. What do you mean by that? As Naruto simply chuckled. Oh. We'll both have a show in a couple of minutes. I must say, it's quite enjoyable watching Konoha people suffer. I wonder how much pain you will feel when I rip Menma and Mito to shreds. As she started to cry in anger. Oh, you're crying. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for you to cry. That is not what I want. I want you to feel anguish, pain. I want all of you to suffer. But not just you. What your pain is gonna be more delightful. Well, most of my family. Well, have fun. Try to reflect how you would feel being locked up in here for your early years of living. And try to imagine how I would feel. It would be a good experiment to you to think what your son went through. Toodles, he says he walked off. As Kushina banged against the bars, but they simply burned her hands. The black smoke on it was like fire, burning her skin every time she touched it. And she screamed in frustration, but her voice could not be heard. Meanwhile, at the hospital, despite the medical-induced coma that Tsunade put Sasuke in, his eyes snapped open, and they were different. This was not the usual Sasuke. Not even the bloodlusted Sasuke that want Naruto dead. This was something else. But guys, the beaten subs are right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notifications we posted. But I'm off for now. Remember to go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a part of Legendary 7 and enjoy that, guys, over on Anime King. And also stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King 2, which I hope that you guys enjoy. And if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I did have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what you find every single day for you guys to enjoy. But I'm off for now. See you guys soon. Peace.